Aubrie, click your heels 3 times and say it with me. There's no place like San Fran. There's no place like San Fran.
There's no place like San Fran. And I'm pretty sure that I'm almost certain that Dre Greenlaw said it 3 times in his press conference.
He did. He exactly did. From Dre Greenlaw, he said it best. The reunion of him and Deebo Samuel back in the building. Welcome back to the Saloon, presented by Cisco. Aubrie and I are here to break down days 4, 5, and 6 of training camp, and boy, are there a lot of storylines to talk about here. First day of pads, Deebo Samuel is back. So many fun things to talk about, Aubrie.
I know, and being at training camp, you don't see everything that's kind of going on until you're able to sit back at your desk and go, oh my gosh, I just saw Deebo make his return.
Right.
You know, I just saw Mike Evans make an incredible catch. You know, I'm watching this greatness happening between him and Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And it's just so exciting. And we're, a week away from our first preseason game.
Right under Levi's. So exciting. It's so wild. Next Thursday, we'll be facing the Tennessee Titans under Levi's lights. So fun. The pads are on this past week. The boys are taking off their training wheels. We're no longer holding their hands. They're full go mode. It's been so exciting to be out on the field these past few days at training camp. So let's just kind of break down. But first, we got to go over everything, all the roster moves, all the injury updates before we dive into all the storylines. So let's start with some of the roster moves. Obviously, Deebo Samuel Sr. is back in the building. He signed this past weekend. And then in order to make room for him, they moved Ricky Pearsall to the IR with his knee injury. In other news, we signed Khalil Herbert. He is a running back, as well as defensive lineman Titus Leo. And we waived Eli Apple and Mikhail Kamara to make room for them. And on the injury front, new on Monday, Mike Evans sat out with a quad injury, along with Kaylon Black with an abductor injury.
Yeah, so there has been a bit of injuries, and that's kind of unfortunately been a storyline to kind of play out over the first few weeks. But a lot of these injuries we were talking about, it's kind of just preventative. It's rest related.
Yeah, I think with training camp, you get a little bit of that because you don't want to go full blow with these guys. And, you want to save your big guys and make sure that they're doing everything the best way that they can and with the best medical advice that they can. So other people that also remain out from last time, we have Deshaun Stribling with the tight hamstring, Christian Kirk with his calf, Malik Mustafa has the hamstring, running back Jordan James with his rib, Vidarian Lowe with his ankle, Cameron Sample with his knee, and defensive lineman Grayson Halton with his knee as well.
Okay, let's not talk about who we don't have on the field. Let's talk about the guys that are coming back.
This is true. So Bosa, as you said, you saw him this past week working with Trent, some one-on-one individual drills, and I know that you were able to be up and close with them.
Yeah.
What did you see there?
In the press conference, Raheem Morris said that, Trent will step aside and Bosa will kind of take him aside so that Bosa could get some drills, some one-on-one drills with a tackle, more realistic since Bosa's not really competing in the team drills yet. And it just goes to show, it's a teammate mentality, right? And so Trent comes out and works with him there. And so it's really exciting to see, veterans, looking to get each other better.
Yep.
And we're seeing that in multiple position groups.
Yeah, it's true. So also Alfred Collins has been progressing off PUP. He was
Let's
activated.
Go!
So excited to see him back. Yeah, no, he's been great. As well as CJ West and Romello Height, both full back in 11-on-11 drills just this past Monday.
Yeah.
So we have some healthy updates there as well. And, again, it's training camp and we're looking at going about it the best way as you can, right?
Yeah.
So save those guys, making sure they get their rest days. And the way that they actually have it blocked out currently, we do have those rest days built in, some jog days, and some of the veterans spoke and said that they really enjoy that and that it's not just full-blown practice every single day. And I know that they looked around the league to see what they're doing differently at different training camps and the best program they can have here for us and our players.
Yeah. And I do like that, because we talk so much about, coming in and it's just business as usual. We have most of our core coaches back, a lot of veterans. And so as much as you come into training camp and expect to see kind of the same thing that you've seen before, especially after the amazing year that the 49ers had last year, it is nice to see just continuing to adapt to, and bring in different different systems as we progress.
Yeah, and that's an important part. And also on that note, we have seen Kyle Shanahan back out there a little bit more frequently than the past block that we saw. So good to see him in good spirits. Other things that we saw in days 4, 5, and 6, Back Together Weekend, NFL Network's initiative that they host. And I know that you talked to some of the reporters out there about Back Together Weekend. That was exciting to see them out there.
Yeah, Omar Ruiz was on site, and they had a whole setup. The NFL Network had a whole setup like they usually do, and they brought on certain guys. But really, what Back Together Weekend for the NFL kind of means is it's a big thank you and honor to the fans, right? So all the fans in attendance, it's like kind of, Ruiz said that football is business in the off season. There's deals being made, there's money getting thrown everywhere, and kind of the fans are left out of it, just kind of looking to see what your team is doing and around the league. But Back Together Weekend is really to be like, all right, football fans, all right, faithful, we are back, and this is for you. We saw John Lynch address the training camp crowd at the start of practice, and he really made it known that they couldn't do what they're doing on the field without the fans backing them up. And so it was really, really powerful. The crowd loved it, loved seeing John Lynch just address them. And that kind of kicked it off. And then you get to hear interviews from some of our top guys, Dre, Fred, Brock. They all sat down and did interviews as well with NFL Network. Yeah. So it was a great weekend for sure.
It really was. And also one of the initiatives behind that too is, you get to have, it's obviously for the fans, and the timing of it, they pushed it back a week so they can get the guys in pads. They can get the fans to come out during this time where, okay, you're really starting to see football coming back. It's the excitement of bringing on season. It's like the start of football season, truly.
And wasn't Saturday.
And it really was.
And wasn't Saturday just a time.
It really was. And also on your note, too, of the guys coming in and sitting down with them, you get them in a mentality before season starts. You get to really see and feel their energy before you get into everything in the season and storylines that are going to obviously appear throughout the season.
So Christian talks about having an off season with his daughter for the first time, right? And being able to,
catch up with them.
Yeah, exactly. Be as present as he can be before football season starts.
Exactly. But yeah, just on that note, right before pads come on, the day that actually pads came on, they were out here. So let's talk about it. I think Chris Forrester said it best. First day in pads, and everyone's trying to set the tempo and set the tone. And boy, did they set the tone, especially those linebackers out there. Obviously, the intensity is ramped up. A lot of one-on-ones that we saw, that was the first time in practices we saw one-on-ones actually happen. So that was an interesting note to see. Just that competitive energy. And
it really was.
Saturday was fun to watch that. And, one of the favorite observations that we had was that little scruff that happened along there. I think it really showed that Dredd and Frey were just itching to get those pads on.
They truly are. I mean, when you think about the competitor that Fred Warner is, the second those shoulder pads go on, he's ready to hit someone. And he even said that, day one of training camp, that he was excited for that. So, we saw some scruff. So there were some amazing defensive plays, amazing offensive plays, first time with pads on. Yeah. And, Brock hit CMC and a great pass down the sideline, and Dre gave CMC a good shove out of bounds, and CMC ended up throwing the ball at him, and it was just like, come on, and it's so amazing. It is so competitive, and it's so amazing to see it, it play out just with teammates and getting each other on there. Like they talked about, on a podcast after that, it's just all love that, Dre has so much respect for CMC. CMC said that Dre was one of the best competitors he's ever shared a field with. Yeah. And so it's so exciting to watch these guys, to see them in the exact position that got them here. You know what I mean? That mentality, that all out, even if it's just against your teammates, or even if it's just, you just put on a pair of pads. Yeah.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, like we forget these are competitors, right?
Yeah.
These are football players. And, the reporters speculated it was a big deal and all of this. And I think the cool part about it is everyone inside the building was like, no, it's all love. Yeah. This is football. These boys, these men play football. This is what they do. And Dre actually spoke after, and he said, I was excited to see CMC fired up because it shows that competition is there. He has that competitive fire. So at the end of the day, again, it's football, and it's just these boys love football, and they're excited to be back. And all good things. Mm-hmm. And I think we're excited to see more of that come. And who else spoke?
And then Fred and Dre just feed off of each other too.
Do.
Yeah, it's like it's honestly like they got their brother back, and they're just I can imagine what their conversations are like, and how they pump each other up.
Yeah. Osa actually spoke on them too, and he said they are one speed, and I think that perfectly sums up those two. And Dre also said it feels like old times. So. I just love hearing them out on the field, two vocal guys out there leading this defense. And again, it's just good to see everyone back in pads and ready to go. And I actually think that these guys are ready to hit people other than their teammates.
Yeah. For sure.
Super exciting for...
We're a week away.
Yeah, Thursday against the Titans. But the biggest news that we probably had coming out of this weekend was Deebo Samuel is back. What did you see from him the first day we saw him out there in pads?
I just could not believe it. When that news broke, it was so interesting because George came on a podcast earlier this summer and talked about how Deebo is one of the best competitors he has played with. Mm-hmm. And so it was such crazy foreshadowing to this news. And so to have Deebo back on Back Together Weekend 2, where the fans were already, ready to see this team, and then they go on and get to see, one of the great 49ers back in the red and gold. It was atmosphere-wise incredible, and he looked ready to go. Yeah. He spent the whole offseason not knowing what team he was going to play for. Mm-hmm. And that is so hard. He talked about in the post-game presser that it's tough, you don't have teammates maybe that you would want to train with, the group that you're already going to go in with. So his offseason looked much, much different than any other offseason he's experienced. And he came ready.
He did.
He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
He
bright green cleats out there.
The bright green cleats.
It was awesome.
Yep.
And what was really cool about it too? His very first play connected with Purdy, and it was right in front of the crowd, right in front of the faithful. So I thought that was awesome to see. Everyone was oohing and aahing and cheering, and it just felt so full circle and wholesome, really, to have him back like that. So it was great. And he actually said it felt like I never left. Teammates are just praising him. Evans said he brings versatility and energy. They actually met at the Pro Bowl in 2021, and he said, he's my guy. Super excited to see him come back here. And then Juice spoke as well and said he's such an incredible teammate. He's still got the juice, and he still can go out there and make good plays, because I feel like that's been the storyline is, can he still do that? And he really has been very active in the past few days of camp. He's assimilating really well. He's starting to rotate in and get his reps, and he's doing that very, very well. Also, on how he changes the offense, Raheem Morris said that he is that ultimate piece that can move around. And then Boyer spoke and said that he's a hell of a player, really tough to tackle, and he's got speed to take it to the house. And what more can you ask from even a special teams coordinator watching that?
It's great that our wide receiver group has so many different talents. So they're not all the same.
Different types.
They're not all the same wide receiver, right? You're not going to find many 6'5" wide receivers that can move like Mike Evans. But then Deebo, being a little bit shorter, he has the speed, the cuts. Yeah. He can also run the ball, which he did a lot with the 49ers in his time before the Commanders. So it's great to watch each one go back to back to back at training camp through the drills to watch them run the same route, but it looks different because of each player, because each player brings a different
thing to the table, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's very, very fun to see Mike with Deebo, and looking forward to seeing it a little bit more once Mike gets back on the field.
Yeah, and I definitely think that we can expect to see from him as kind of like that gadget role, right? He can run it. He can catch it. He can pull it. He can throw it. I sound like
CMC.
He's like CMC, but also at the same time, with running, catching, throwing, it's funny. I feel like I sound like the Bop It toy from like the 2000s.
Catch it.
Pull it. You know, and that is him. He's that gadget role that we keep seeing, and he is getting a lot of reps in those 11-on-11s, and it's cool to see him bring that versatility to the offense. And I do want to also touch a little bit on, yes, Deebo's back, but it's Deebo and Dre. And we were talking about Dre earlier, but just want to talk about how that there's that unfinished business from 2023 in that team. Juice called them two bullies back together. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's so cool in full circle to see this kind of roll out the way that we have seen it roll out. Dre said that in the offseason he was chatting with Deebo a little bit. So he had his guys still. They were still chatting a little bit. Yeah. And he said, come over here. Let's have a reunion. There's no place like San Fran. And that's what I brought up earlier in the show. Mm-hmm. I think it's like such a cool thing to hear that from someone who leaves the organization, comes back, and is like, look, there's no place like San Fran. Mm-hmm. I also want to note, people from San Francisco, they know they don't say San Fran. So Dre did expose himself a little bit. It's either FSF or the city. I learned that really early on.
This is true in relation to the city, but yes. I'm pretty sure around the league, when you're talking about the 49ers, I think players call it San Fran. So when the players refer to the 49ers, they say San Fran. But yes, as someone born and raised in the Bay Area, we do not call San Francisco San Fran. We just call it the city.
But I love San Fran.
We actually even call SF too. Hey, you want to go up to SF? Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that one really early on. But
don't call it Frisco either.
I like Dre's. Don't call it that.
Don't call it Frisco.
Okay, no Frisco. Well, Frisco, Texas.
Yeah.
But I like Dre Greenlaw's San Fran. I think he should stick with it. I think we should get a big old Pinterest wooden board here.
There's no place
like San Fran. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true, and it's really cool to see someone talk about this organization like that. And now we got two of these guys back together, and hey, we got some unfinished business to take care of.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's looking more and more like that 2023 Super Bowl team, that NFC Championship team.
And you were there.
You know, I was. Mm-hmm. I know. It was I always describe it as the best day of my life until it wasn't the best day of my life. It was like up until that final buzzer. But to experience like the NFC Championship with the at home, oh my gosh, at home with the confetti and just, you know, you have so much. It was great. I would never, ever trade that again, you know. But I'm ready to bring it home.
And
I'm
just
ready
as
to
much
bring home all the
as
way.
you are, you know, these guys also experienced that. So I think they're just as hungry to bring back that Super Bowl trophy. So we are so early in the season, but it is really cool, and we do have this really cool storyline of these vets that have the experience of taking it all the way to a Super Bowl championship. So excited to see that play out, especially as preseason starts next week and we roll into season 1 or week 1 in Australia. But a little bit more about camp and what we saw this week. Let's talk a little bit about the camp competitions and that wide receiver depth. Obviously, with Strib and Evans being both out yesterday or on Monday, we saw a little bit more opportunity for other receivers to make their plays. I think someone that has been a constant standout here has been DeMarcus Robinson. You know, consistent, always there. He's always taking the first those reps with Mike and, you know, the warm-ups, and they're running together. And he has been a reliable target. So I think it's cool to see him show a little bit more when we have these big guys that we're talking about, you know, take a rest day or take a day or two off. Mm-hmm. And we also have Jordan Watkins on the other end, Junior Burgeon, and Jacob Cowling all taking steps up in that wide receiver battle. Yeah,
as you know, they're going to get a lot more reps come training camp, and then hopefully during preseason games as well.
Yeah, a lot's going to shake out when the preseason happens.
Yeah.
Other competitions, special teams, we actually heard from Boyer yesterday, as well as Eddie. But on that return job and the punter battle, Boyer mentioned yesterday that emulating special teams activities in practice are really hard to do because a lot of what they do is high pressure situations, right? You can't really emulate that in practice. And so preseason is going to be so important for this and so imperative. So everyone should definitely keep your eyes out on that. And for the return battle, he said that we're not looking for someone who just wants to return kicks. We need someone that is going to read the field. We need that complete player. And some of the people that we're looking at for that he's looking at for that is Cowing, Burgeon, Watkins, and then Will Pauling. So preseason is definitely going to be a time where that's going to shake out. As well as the punter battle, we have Jack Bouwmeester and Corliss Waitman both going at it. I know you had a little bit to say on Bouwmeester the other day.
Yep.
Or Aussie. What more do you have to say on him and what you've seen from practice? We see them doing in-between drills of punting and kicking.
Yeah, it's usually the special teams will come on maybe during a break during team.
During 11 on 11.
Yeah, yep. during 11 on 11. And it's, it's a very interesting battle between a veteran and a rookie. It's like imperative battle. So, but I do see them working together too, right?
Yeah,
it's such an interesting concept where, a rookie will look to a veteran that's trying to take their spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely an interesting dynamic. But it seems like two great guys out there for sure.
Yeah.
And as for, obviously, we got Eddie, our kicker. He signed this offseason, so that was really exciting news. And we actually got to hear from him yesterday. And I really wanted to bring this quote to you guys because I just thought it was really special of what he said about being here and being at San Fran. And at this organization. He said, I just love how family-oriented this team is and how the coaches get you and the players and how they support you here. And then the fan base. And then he took a pause. And he goes, with me, obviously being Hispanic, and there are a lot of Hispanics out here, I just love the culture. And honestly, it's a dream come true. I'm blessed, and I feel like I'm part of the 49ers family now, for real.
Oh, that's amazing.
So sweet. Eddie, you're always a part of the 49ers family.
Yeah.
And I know the faithful all love Eddie. He is just such a great guy in this locker room, such a great guy on this team. Just love his energy and the type of person he is. Mm-hmm. And he's great.
He wears a sweatshirt and like long pants, even when it's 100 degrees out on training camp.
Oh my
gosh.
By the way,
he is always bundled up. I can't believe that.
Something we also need to mention: the past 4 days, 4, 5, and 6. The heat has cranked up. Not only has it cranked up with the battles and the pads on, but like it has also actually gotten hotter. It has
gotten hotter.
10 degrees hotter from last week.
But according to Mike Evans, he will choose this over Tampa anytime.
Hey, look, to be fair, Tampa's got that humidity. I was there before here, so I know what that's like. I know what that training camp weather is like, and I'm not complaining either. I'm just saying that it is hot out there.
It was so funny. The first question a reporter asked Mike was like, how do you like the weather out here? How is it? He goes, oh, this is so great. Yeah. Oh, this is so amazing.
So awesome to see him back here. And then as for another battle out here, we actually have seen a lot of the tight ends kind of taking a step up just because George Kittle still going through his recovery. But we've seen a lot of Tonjes and Farrell and Willis and Rucci as well stepping up. So it's been cool to see them kind of shining a little bit and making some plays. And then as well as, George Kittle is still out there being a George Kittle. And I keep seeing him pulling them aside and really hyping up that group, which is really cool to still have him giving the best advice that he can and giving the best pointers that he can from what he sees.
Yeah, both Tonjes and Farrell had a good amount of reps last year. Even when George was in, we saw a really big touchdown from Tonjes early in the season. And so it's not, it's not like a rookie group, although sometimes it feels like it because we have such a veteran led, because it's veteran led by, one of the best tight ends ever to play the game.
Right.
So I really look forward to, watching two of them continue to develop because they have, developed incredibly over the past few years. So looking forward to seeing where that group, finishes.
Definitely. And I also think it's worth mentioning Hayden Rucci as well and Willis because both of them have been making big plays too. And also wanted to note with Kyle Juszczyk being a fullback, right? And with Christian McCaffrey and how this roster has kind of evolved, he did say that he's setting up a little bit more in the line of scrimmage. And a reporter had asked him if, he's preparing to play a little bit more of that tight end role with, Kittle going through his recovery and everything. And he said, I'll play wherever they want me to play and I'll do the best that I can at that job. And I think that's really cool. And we have seen Juice, line up a few times more playing on that tight end position because that's just the nature of this roster recently. Yeah. And it's cool to see that, he's ready to step up and be that leader that he is.
Yeah.
So all good things there. And last but not least, I think something that we for sure have to hit on, and the biggest thing to come out of this has been our defense. Yeah. Man, that secondary recently has just been so good, so sticky in coverage, have been coming up with production. I want to read off a few of these stats that we have from some of our guys in that secondary. With Jair Brown, he has an interception, and these are in the past few days. An interception, a pass breakup, and a few forced incompletions. Jack Jones came up with 3 pass breakups, an interception, and a forced incompletion. Renardo Green has a handful of pass breakups and up and out with 3 pass breakups. And I just think the production on this secondary right now has been so great, obviously.
And it comes down to Raheem's new scheme.
Yep.
It comes down to Raheem Morris's new scheme. We knew with a possible 5-man down that the cornerbacks are really going to have to step up.
Yes.
And like you said, be sticky. And I think they have rose to the challenge, and they, every play during 11-ons, we're seeing a different cornerback make a great play.
Yeah.
And so that's honestly been one of the most exciting position groups to watch. Like, I would rank that like top 2, probably top 3.
Oh, definitely. And I think you mentioned the new guys coming out and making new plays. I do want to mention we had a rookie yesterday make his first pass breakup, was Ephesians Pricesock, and it was cool to see the battle and him win and him get that confidence. And I think on your point of Raheem, he's giving them that confidence. And actually, Jair Brown spoke on what it's like now being in Raheem Morris's scheme, and he says, it fits more into my strong suits. I like reading the quarterback and letting my instincts take over.
Yeah.
So I think every of that reiterates exactly what the stats and the production are showing here.
Yeah. It's more reaction. Than too much mental, too much, not as much reading, more of just reaction. Yeah.
And I do also want to mention with these plays, in 11-on-11s, we see about like 50-ish snaps, around 50. We average around that. So to come up with this amount of production has been great. With all these pass breakups and interceptions, it's just, you can tell that they have that confidence and they are being sticky, and we love to see that because, come week 1, you got to be ready to hit the ground running and, play the best football that you can. So if our defense is doing that and our offense gets a chance to play against that, phenomenal.
Yep.
But I actually got to speak to one of our guys, Renardo Green, that I just brought up, and he's been having a great camp, obviously, with his production. And honestly, one of his strongest camps that he's had thus far. And he's one of those guys that really lets the playing do the talking. So I actually caught up with him on an off day and got to hear a little bit about his journey, now entering year 3 in the NFL. So check out this one-on-one. We're joined here with Renardo Green. Renardo, we want to just take you through a little bit of your journey now entering year 3, a little bit about what you think coming into this year, what's different, and just get your perspective on coming into training camp this year. So when people describe you, they describe you as kind of a quiet guy on the field, but you let the playing do the talking. What's that approach like for you? What's the mentality behind that?
I don't like what we finna bicker and go back and forth about what. Let's just go do it. So, like, what am I doing all that talking for? Like I was just saying earlier, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So I only say things like when I need to speak. If I don't need to speak, then I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yeah. Now, how would you describe yourself as someone who doesn't know you, whether it's on the field or off?
You'll kind of just see me back, observing, going on about my business in my own little world. Probably don't think that I'm paying attention. I'm definitely paying attention to see everything. And once you get to know me, you'll know that I'm pretty cool, laid back. I'm actually outgoing once. Like, if we can get here, I'm actually outgoing.
Yeah.
But it's just we got to get here first. You get what I'm saying?
I get you. Yeah. I feel you. And how do you apply that then on the field?
My teammates pretty much get me and know how I am. I mean, I have been playing, for like a good amount of time here. Yeah. So once we sit here and lock here, they understand everything. Even if I don't speak, they can just read me and know what I'm thinking and know where I'm coming from.
For sure. Yeah, and that relationship is definitely important. Now this year, you do have a new defensive coordinator with Raheem Morris stepping in. How has that been kind of adjusting to both your personality and his personality?
He for the most part, I feel like he gets me and understands me. He tells me, a lot of things that can help me in my game with details and the game within the game in football. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do too much, but he doesn't underdo what he's supposed to do. Like, he does it just right. So yeah. I'm thankful for him.
Now, you've had a really successful past few days at training camp, recorded quite a few pass breakups in past consecutive days, really. Morris actually praised you on that and said that you've really taken a step up this training camp. What does that mean coming from him, and how are you applying that?
It just means keep going, basically. Stay consistent as possible, and just keep, working on myself to be the best version of me, and whatever the best version of me, if that's the best in the league, gold jacket, whatever that may be, just being the best that I can be personally.
Yeah. Now, Morris and you have had a few side conversations I've seen throughout practice. What are you guys talking about when you guys are chatting it up?
I ain't gonna say his jokes he a few jokes that he'll say, and then other than that is, like good friendly ball talk, the game within the game, basically.
Yeah. Now he's shaking up a few things, is doing things quite different this year. Has that given you any more freedom? He's putting a little confidence in that secondary. Is it giving you more confidence in your own game? How does that feel?
Yeah, he allows me to go and be more of me. Like, allows me to go and play more in my way, see things that's more comfortable with me, but like while still playing within the scheme.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really get that from a lot of guys. Some guys that try to teach you to be by the book and all this and that, but in the game of football, sometimes you got to take up for error that happens out there. Like, it's anything can happen. You got to be able to adapt. So he does a good job allowing me to be able to adapt and play my game, but play it within the scheme.
Yeah, for sure. Now at FSU, you were named the most improved defensive player in 2022. What has changed in your game from then to now entering year 3 in the NFL?
We were big on man coverage. So when I first got here, we were a zone team. So just learning more about zones and, like slowing tempo down and, getting clean eyes and things like that. That was the biggest difference for me. And once, I got comfortable with it, once I got it down pat, now I can do it like man coverage.
Yeah. Now, one of the coverage that we're talking about and has been in recent news has been against Mike Evans at pass breakup on day 3 of training camp. Can you walk me through that play and what was going through your head?
They tried to scheme me up. Mike tried to hit me with an okie doke, and I wasn't going for the okie doke. So it just turned into me just reading, reacting, and playing ball and doing what I do best. I was in man coverage. He tried to hit me with a certain move, and I didn't go, and then it's just playing football after that.
Yeah, for sure. Almost natural, yeah? Natural to you?
Like breathing.
Yeah. Now, in the press conference after, you actually said that you guys are just two dogs. You're going at it in two dogs, right? Are sharpening each other's swords. And I think that was a really cool statement to hear from the other side of the ball. How has that been for you, and how has he taught you those certain things?
He's probably a Hall of Famer. So, you see the experience he has, the way he runs his routes, the way he can get open, the way he can counter. It's not like he's a young gun and he's out here just flying around 4-2, 4-3. It's like he's so savvy that even when you think you got him, he may do something that you've never seen or that you're not used to. You might be like, oh, okay. So I guess it's like a savvy guy, and in order to guard him, you got to pick up other savvy tricks. So it's a savvy guy versus another savvy guy, basically.
And you also have mentioned that being in a quarterback position, it's kind of like you're on an island out there, and there's a lot of mental factors that take to get over the play that happened before. It's a very visible position. Everyone sees every rep that you take. How is your mental when you approach a situation where you need to get on and move on to the next play?
You just can't care. You got to have confidence and just not really care too much about what's going on, too much what people got to say. Play the next snap. It's something called life of a corner. A lot of people don't know about that. They don't live that. But life of a corner is a real thing, and you got to have it up here. It start up here. So just having that mindset and mentality that allows you to be a very good cornerback. Once you get the talent and the understanding of the game, you got to have that mentality.
Yeah, kind of like a goldfish. You ever seen Ted Lasso? And he says you got to have a memory of a goldfish, move on to the next.
I don't think I ever seen that.
You've never seen it?
Nah,
oh my goodness, out here. But has there been a coach or a specific player along the way that has taught you the life of a corner mentality, or is it something that you've just kind of just grown into yourself?
It was something I kind of just grew into myself. Just willing to compete, have short-term memory, and just play the next down. It's something that I've just always had in me since I've been playing football since the age of 5. I've always thought about you on as good as your next play. So that was always my mindset. And as I grew, learned more about the position, learned more about football and the game within the game, it just, evolved and it's at where it's at now.
Yeah. Did you always want to be a corner?
I never thought I'd be playing corner. I used to play running back and quarterback. And then once I got to high school, I was playing all over the field. Then I had a cousin who was like, bro, come play corner. So then I was like, my cousin McCarr, shout out to him. So I was just like, all right, I'm finna play corner. And then it was like receiver. They not throwing you the ball, but it's kind of like receiver. So I was just like, all right, bet, this is what it's finna be.
Yeah, for sure. You're still in touch with him?
Yeah. That's like my right hand. Yeah.
Now, say we're doing this interview at the end of the season. What do you want receivers to know on the other end of when they're lined up against Renardo Green? What can they expect?
They're in for a dogfight. I can't get open. He's scrappy.
I like that.
That's what I want.
Like that. Well, thank you so much for your time. Yeah, Renardo is so great. I'm really looking forward to seeing where his journey takes him this year, entering year 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now we're going to jump into a little thing I like to call camp superlatives.
Okay.
Now, I love superlatives. I had a high school superlative.
What was your high school superlative?
Oh, do you really want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay, you guys, brace yourselves. My high school superlative, it was 2020, was most likely to raid Area 51.
Oh. Wait. Oh, on 3, camera 3.
Oh, same. I was like, what do you mean on 3?
I thought you meant 3, 2, 1.
Same.
I thought you were counting down.
Sorry. When I jump to superlatives, feel free to cut it.
I'm so sorry, guys.
No, you're totally fine.
Damn it! Now my superlative got exposed. Okay, react like you've never heard it before.
Okay.
I'm so good. I'm so sorry.
Okay, 3. Oh wait, actually, you count me in. Or I'll count myself in.
You
okay,
count.
3, 3, 2. It was so great to hear from Renardo, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing what he does and his journey entering year 3.
Absolutely. Big
All
things to
right,
come.
Big things to come. Now we're going to get into a little block I like to call camp superlatives. Now, one thing about me, I love superlatives.
What was your superlative in high school?
Do you
I didn't
wanna hear
have
it?
one, unfortunately.
Do
Yeah,
you want to hear it?
I do.
Okay. It was most likely to raid Area 51. Now, keep in mind, this was 2020, and there was like this petition going on about, okay, we're going to have like the monster truck people and then the Naruto people invade.
I totally forgot about that.
It was totally this one-off random, usually you get like best eyes, most likely to be president. No, Brooke Evans got most likely to raid Area 51. If anyone has a Palos Verdes
Are
high
you a
school,
conspiracy person?
I would on specific things.
Okay.
I think
you can't
now
be-
everything's
you can't
coming
be a
out. I would
conspiracy
think
theorist on
Area
everything.
51 has a lot of things to offer, and me personally would love to be there. So
I'm certain
I
it's
took
just
it
desert.
I took it with pride. I said, yeah, I'd raid Area 51 if I was given the chance. And you know who else I think would join me? I think George Kittle would also be in that group with me.
No doubt. No
Right?
doubt about it. Absolutely.
I think he would be part of like
He'd
the
be leading
monster
the
truck.
charge.
Yeah, for sure. So me and George Kittle will be doing that. Stay tuned. More on camp superlatives. We don't have as crazy of superlatives of that, but we do have a few fun ones here. Let's start with the MVP of this past block, days 4, 5, and 6. My MVP, not to be cliche, but it's going to be Deebo. I mean, just seeing him out there, so fun. The fans are so excited. All the news we knew a little bit beforehand. And so being able to then finally see it happen and talk about it, and I knew he was in the building, was so fun. And I think, too, it wasn't just like he showed up and that was it. He showed up and he was really getting in his work. He was getting worked in the rotations. I saw him, bonding on the side with, like, obviously this wide receiver room looks a lot different than it did when he left. And he was bonding with Mike Evans, and I saw him talking with Christian Kirk and doing the best he can to, assimilate into this group and get back to where he's been.
Yeah. It must be nice to come back to, knowing the area, like
So true.
as much as the camp schedule has changed a bit, it's still very much similar. So it is nice to come to a place and not have to start over from scratch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you got for your MVP?
Fred Warner. I mean, the second those pads went on. The second those pads went on,
itching to get those pads on.
I could. It was in. I didn't even realize it as a time as we were watching the first padded practice that those were his first tackles since coming off of the injury.
Yeah.
So that was kind of mine, I would say, Fred, and just seeing, and even when they weren't in pads, his presence was there. And then the reunion with Dre, just absolutely. Yep, MVP,
absolutely.
Fred Warner.
I like it. All right, now into the best catch of this past block. I'm going to go the one-hander from Evans on day 4. It was over a defender. It was so classic and on brand for Mike Evans. Yeah. And I think maybe the faithful doesn't know, too much of that. Me being at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a year, I got to see a lot of that history and a lot of that Mike Evans stereotypical catches. And just to see it happen now in the red and gold threads was awesome.
Yeah.
And for the crowd to see it happen, it was so cool. It was Brock Purdy threw a pass right down the right-hand side to Evans, right in front of the crowd. He one-hand caught it over the defender and brought it in, and the crowd just went crazy.
And that is just, when you're 6'5", that's what he said in his post-game press conference. If you're 6'5", Brock just got to throw it up there. He's like, throw it up there, I'll get it.
Yeah, and that's such a cool thing to see that they have that connection. And yeah, exactly. He said, look, when I'm covered, I'm still pretty open, right? I'm 6'5", I'm a pretty big target over here. And then he also accredited Brock and said, Brock is a super accurate quarterback, and he can throw that ball. Get it to me, I'm there. Yeah. And so that's a really cool connection to see. Who do you have for your best catch?
This past training camp, Deebo had in his very first, training camp back, he had a catch that just lit up the fans. Like, it was his very first catch back in the 49er, uniform.
Yep.
And he went and caught it, kind of ran down the field, and the whole training camp, fans just kind of stood and cheered. It was great. It was great. It really brought up the energy.
Yeah, I can visualize it now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. It was really cool. And day 1, he was wearing these bright green cleats, so it was really hard to miss him. He actually switched into black cleats, but I really like the green.
Yeah.
It was easy to see him from far away. Anyways, on to the next. Best defensive play. I mentioned it earlier, but for me, it was rookie Ephesians Prysock with his pass breakup against Junior Burgeon just yesterday, just on Monday. Just to see him really be more confident in his skill and his ability. And when he came down with the ball, he climbed up the ladder with him, met him at the top, batted the ball away. And then his reaction afterwards, he was just so excited. And again, we've seen so much production from the secondary recently. To see a rookie then also follow in suit was really cool to see. It was almost like it's catching on. It's hanging out there. And, Ephesians is from, went to University of Washington, was our 4th round, 139th pick. So just seeing these guys get those reps, it was cool. Yeah. It was really cool.
Well, mine was another pass breakup. I mean, our cornerbacks have been fantastic. And this one was a Jack Jones.
Jack Jones, underrated player right now. Jack Jones.
Truly. He's kind of climbing up, isn't he? He's like, eyes are kind of looking at Jack Jones, and he had a great pass breakup when he went one-on-one against Jordan Watkins.
Yes.
And I just feel like we're seeing these cornerbacks make plays, and I can't imagine what the camaraderie is like in the locker room right now between that group.
They must be having so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it. All right, now on to biggest surprise. Mine's a little bit more football focused. I have tight end Braden Willis, his one-hander just from Monday from Jones, biggest play of the day. Again, it's cool to see these tight ends step up into these big roles, and I think that was definitely the biggest play of the day that happened, and just cool to see him kind of be more in that rotation.
I didn't get to see that. What was Jones's reaction to that? Because I'm sure Mac.
Oh, you know Mac.
Mac loves to hype up his guys.
Mac is funny because he can act very nonchalant, or he can act like the goofiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
What he did after he threw it, I don't even think he watched it. I think he knew that it was like a dime, and he turned around and walked away. He was like, yep. And then he went,
hey.
Classic Mac.
Love it.
All right.
Okay, mine's a little crazy.
Hear yours.
Mine's a little crazy.
Biggest surprise.
So, what some people may not know at training camp is that the rookies do a dance for the fans right at the start of filming period. Yeah. So a rookie will come over, and then they will play a song, and then they'll dance. Bouwmeester, Jack Bouwmeester, he did this dance, pretended like he had hurt his hamstring, and then twerked in front of the fans.
Wait, you can't cartwheel. He did a cartwheel.
He did the
first.
cartwheel. He pretended like he hurt his hamstring, which is not cool because everyone was like, oh, no. And then he twerked. And everyone just loved it. It's so fun to see because as a rookie, it's high pressure. Yeah. You know, you come in and
especially him. He's in that one-on-one position battle here.
Exactly. And so to be able to just have fun as well and show your personality, and that's how you get fans in the NFL. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
So that was my biggest surprise that a rookie would twerk in front of how many? There's probably a good, couple thousand. Maybe a couple thousand people.
Maybe 100.
I can't even tell. You could tell me that
numbers don't get along.
You could tell me that Levi Stadium fits 100,000, and I would be like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. It's like 60.
It's like not to say.
Yeah,
I'm not big
70.
on numbers, but I know that one.
Well, because college stadiums in the South fit 100 easy, and then you think, oh, an NFL.
You want to talk about college stadiums in the South? Let me tell you about college stadiums in the South. Georgia girl here. No, you're right. You are right on that point. Yeah. But as for numbers, I would say probably like a few hundred people here.
No way, Brooke.
At training camp.
I don't believe you.
Okay, you guys. Maybe
a couple hundred. Next week I'm gonna come on.
Aubrie is gonna be counting
next week.
That's her job next week. She's gonna come and be. I counted.
I'm gonna
be
I'm gonna be at the gate with the clicker going click 1, click 2.
There's probably someone out there that does do that.
I'll just ask how many tickets.
Information easily accessible to us,
and I'm gonna find that.
Okay, there it is. You guys stay tuned for next week. And our last, but certainly not least, superlative, who are you buying stock in? Mine?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying DeMarcus Robinson. Like I said, he's been really consistent. Still a strong player when Evans and Stribling are both in. Still a strong player when Evans and Stribling are out. Watch out for him.
Yeah.
And sneaky, Jack Jones. We've been talking about him. He had a lot of production. He had 3 pass breakups, an interception, and a few forced incompletions. I mean, I don't know. Sneaky.
Well, I'm buying stock in Strib.
Okay.
But when you talk about consistency, I have been consistent since the first episode. And I'm saying Dejon Stribling, Strib. So I'm buying stock in Strib.
I love it.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. He's gonna have an amazing preseason game.
And I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I would also buy stock in Strib. I just didn't see him practice yesterday, and I said DeMarcus Robinson.
No,
that's
absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tight hammy. I think we'll see him back. Preseason's gonna be super excited to see him. He also comes from a SEC Southern school at Ole Miss, so excited to see what he does and in a new atmosphere and in front of 60,000 people in Levi's.
Yeah, a smaller number than he played. A smaller number than he
played. I wonder
what
is the Ole Miss? Let's see, stadium number capacity. Let's see. He plays against. Oh no. Okay, around the same.
Okay. Simple.
60,580.
Okay, good. So I think Levi's taps out at like 70. Levi's capacity. Should we know this? Yes.
Maybe
should the in-game host know how many people that I talked to?
This is your job.
On any given game?
6 days ago. Hold on. I have an update. 6 days ago from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. I guess that's the name of it. 64,038.
Okay.
That's what it is. 64,000.
So the World Cup matches brought in 75,000.
Okay.
But standard seating is like 70,000 at Levi's.
Cool. More people.
Yeah. So
different atmosphere. Long story short, he will be playing in front of a few thousand more people.
Yes.
And totally different atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. Well, preseason game already brings a different atmosphere. Like the difference, a lot of like season ticket holders don't show up during preseason games. So you see actually a really big mix of fans, different from what we'll see like, in our home opener.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Preseason's fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Super excited for it. We have a lot to come. Aubrie, we have this fun block that we wanted to talk about. It's called Aubrie's Audible.
Yes.
Aubrie, what is your Audible from this past few days?
Okay. So Aubrie's Audible. I'm lining up. I'm Brock Purdy, and I'm reading the defense, and I'm going. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Okay, something's got to change.
Brooke Evans is in that lineup. What are we gonna? We gotta get her out of here.
Yes. What are we gonna change? We're gonna take another look at the length, the inseam of the shorts that players are showing up in this year, because the average inseam, the length of the shorts has decreased significantly.
I think the guys are just working on their tans, okay? It's hot out there. The sun's shining. They want to get their tan on,
I am sure aerodynamics in there as well. Exactly. If you were to ask them, they'll be like, "Oh, it just allows me to be more free." Okay. There have been a lot of great football players that have full length pants on. And I'm telling you something.
Back the baggy, to the knee shorts. Is that your vibe? Like
you
the
can't
2000s?
do baggy. It's so funny because they were just above the knees, and everyone was talking about how like, oh, now football players wear their shorts above their knees, and now they're crazy. But also the Mac Jones situation as well. That's like sweatpants cut off at the calf.
It's not even. It's not a capri. It's a. I don't even know what you would call a 3/4 pant, but it looks like he cut it himself. I'm actually pretty sure that he did cut them himself.
Yeah. So basically, either the shorts are really short, or the pants are like cut off at the calf.
A Mac Jones capri cut off.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have a solution for it, but I'm just saying if
that would be Aubree's.
If I'm looking at the defense, if I'm pulling an audible, I'm saying let's bring back some longer shorts.
Luckily, in season, they got their long legs on. They got to have their whole fit. So, what is to come, you guys? We have a lot of exciting things to come in training camp these next few days. We have 8-7 day, Dwight Clark Day on the 6th. Actually, we are celebrating the day before. It is an open training camp, so make sure you come out. Mm-hmm. Aubrie, I know you have a little bit of background with Dwight Clark Day and a little bit about this 8-7 day.
Yeah.
Can you give a little brief explainer about what this is?
Yeah. So 87 was Dwight Clark's number. He is a Hall of Famer both in Canton and also in the DeBartolo Hall of Fame here as well. And truly, he was a great man on and off the field. His presence still resonates in the locker room to this day, and it's just a day that we get to celebrate and remember the man who was Dwight Clark. Mm-hmm. And so we get to do that with the fans. We'll have t-shirts all with, usually 8-7 or Dwight Clark's catch on the front. And it's really, it is a super special day to celebrate a very, very, very special person who had such a big impact in this organization.
Love it. So 8-7 day on 8-6. You guys better show up, be ready. A really important day for this organization. But what else is to come? On August 11th, Tuesday, we have a joint training camp with the Titans. That one also will be an open training camp. So that would be super fun if you guys want to get a little different training camp experience. And then obviously that Thursday, we'll have our first preseason game at Levi's. Super excited. So you guys stay tuned for more 49ers.com articles and all the content that Aubrie and I have been doing ourselves and our whole team behind us. And
I believe you can still get tickets to that preseason game on our app. Make sure to download the 49ers brand new app. It is incredible. And a lot of our coworkers spent a lot of time putting in so much, effort into making that the best experience possible.
For sure. Mm-hmm. So you guys stay tuned for more 49ers training camp content across all of our platforms. And make sure you subscribe to The Saloon presented by Cisco on YouTube, SiriusXM, and your favorite podcast platform.
And make sure you turn those post notifications on so you don't miss an episode.
Go Niners!